guys, welcome back to Rustic and Lace DIY. I am so thankful that you're here with me today, and if you're new, well, welcome. My name is Brenda, and I really hope you enjoy my channel. If you enjoy what you see today, I would really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up because that really helps my channel. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready, so let's begin. Okay, here are the items that we are going to use for this first DIY. So to begin, I just got a baby wipe and wiped up the terracotta pot to make sure there was no dirt or dust on it. And I got this pot at Dollar Tree. It comes in a 2-pack for $1. So then once it was all wiped and dried, I used Waverly chalk paint in the color Elephant to paint the bottom part of this pot, and I do paint the very bottom as well. And it was really nice painting on this pot because it just went on so nicely, and I only needed to do one coat. So once I get done doing that, then I use the Waverly chalk paint in color Mineral to paint the rim of this pot. And after I get done painting that rim, I get a small paintbrush to go over some of the mistakes that I had when I was painting the light. It got onto the dark paint. So here I'm just grabbing the Easter eggs that I bought from the Dollar Tree, and normally these eggs have a little hole on the end, but these didn't. So I had this little tool that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's got a very sharp end, and I just started poking holes on the top of each one. Here you'll see I use my X-Acto knife to kind of open up that hole, but I ended up really not needing to do that. So once I got that poked through, I just used one of the skewers to push into that egg, and there it goes. It worked. So I did that with all of the eggs. I got them all on the skewers, and then once they were all on there, I took the Waverly antique wax and this little stencil brush, and I am just flicking the wax onto the eggs. And it's a very messy process, so if you're going to do it, be prepared. You'll be able to see all that brown on that white paper that I have there from this wax, but it just gives it a nice little speckled look. So, and just be careful when you do this. I kept accidentally touching my brush against the eggs, so then I'd have to start over. Once they were all done and dried, I just clipped off those skewers so that they would fit into this styrofoam ball. And the styrofoam ball I got at Walmart, and they came in a 3-pack, but unfortunately I don't remember how much they cost. So I just completely filled the styrofoam ball with all those eggs. And once I got done with that, I just used some of those styrofoam balls and flowers that I got from the Dollar Tree to fill in any bare spots, and I thought it looked pretty darn cute. Hi guys! I really hope you enjoyed that first video. Before we continue on to the next, I just wanted to pop in real quick and give you guys a heads up that at the end of this video, I'm going to give you a sneak peek of one of the items I created for next week, so stay tuned. So get some popcorn, some coffee, whatever you need to be ready, because here we go to the next DIY. Okay, for this next project, I used this bottle that I had from the avocado oil we had used up, and I just thought it was a really pretty bottle, and I wanted to do something with it. So I'm using that with this olive branch and some half beads, these transfer rub-on stickers, and Waverly chalk paint in the color Plaster. So I start off by using some of this goof off, which is like Gooby Gone, I think they call it, or Goo Gone, something like that. Anyways, this just helps take off any residue left over from the label that was on it. And then once it was done and dried, I painted my bottle, the whole bottle, white. And unfortunately, this was a big mistake because after I got it all painted, I looked down and realized that I had forgotten to put my beads on, which is what I wanted to do first. So here I am wiping off that paint with a baby wipe to get it all clean and get the areas that I wanted to put those beads on. So after that, I just started hot gluing the beads onto this bottle, and I have 5 on top, 5 on bottom, all the way around. And I have 4 small beads with 1 bigger bead in the middle. And I just do that all around the bottle. And when you do this, you just want to make sure that you give that hot glue a little time to set. I think I tried to do it too quickly. I started painting around it before it really had time to set, and I was having issues with some of those beads falling off, so I kept having to clean the area and re-hot glue them on, and it was a mess there for a little bit, but I got it figured out. So once I had them all glued and they were sticking, I just took my paint and just started painting all around them again. I even take a little paintbrush so that I can paint all right above them and below them and in between them where the bigger paintbrush wasn't getting into. So I get that all taken care of, and it turns out looking pretty good. There's the finished bottle with the paint, not the product. Oh my goodness. Okay. So then after that, I take these rub-on transfer stickers and I am just burnishing them onto the bottle. And I am using my little Cricut tool, but if you don't have a Cricut, you can use a credit card or your fingernails or whatever you have that you can use to rub those on. Now, if you've never used these stickers, basically how it works is you just pull the little black backing off, you put them on the item you want them, and then you just rub and rub and rub, and then you pull off the plastic sheeting that's on the top. And when you pull off that plastic, if some of the ink is still coming off with the plastic, you can just lay that plastic back down, rub it some more, and then pull off, and it should pull off clear. And then that is all you have to do. So then I decided that the back and the sides looked a little too bare, so I ended up doing the same thing with some leaves on each side and on the back. Then once I had those all on, I took my ink color in Waverly Chalk paint, and I'm just doing a little distressing and highlighting all around the bottle. So whenever you do distressing, it's always a good idea to go back over with the original color. That way it just gives it a little bit more of a blending look, and I'm going to do that here in just a second. You'll see me using that white paint to go over it. Okay, so when I was done with that, I decided to wrap some jute twine around the neck of it. So I'm just put a little hot glue on there and wrapping it around with the twine, and then I seal it with a little more hot glue. And there it is. It looks so cute. And then I decide I need to have some ribbon as well on it. So I take this little buffalo check ribbon and I just make a little bow, and then I wrap a little twine around the middle of that bow, which I'm going to hot glue it on here, and then I just hot glue that onto the top of the bottle. So now tell me, what's the difference between gingham and buffalo check? I'm not sure. I think buffalo check might be bigger, but anyway, so here I do dovetailing on the bottom of the bow, and it is a finished product. I put the olive leaf in, and I think it's beautiful. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. So now to the next one. So I used this crate that I got from the Dollar Tree, as well as this sign that I made on my Cricut. And then I used this little egg hanging sign from the Dollar Tree, as well as 4 different papers that I got from Hobby Lobby. And then this sign, this Easter sign that I got at the Dollar Tree as well. And then I'm using my Waverly Chalk paint in the color Celery and Plaster. So I start off by taking off the jute twine off of that sign. And what I liked about it is it had plastic on the end, so I didn't have to cut it. It just popped right out, which makes it nice because now I can use it for another item. at another time. So then I trimmed out this shipping paper and I'm going to glue it to the back or the front of the board to cover up that Easter sign, and that way we'll have a finished look on the back. And then once I'm done doing that, I turn it around and I'm painting the back part of the sign, which is now the front, and I'm just putting a thin layer of paint on that so that we can have a distressed look. Then I take this crate along with the celery paint color and I'm using a small brush to get inside of the cracks there. That way, when I use the bigger paintbrush, I can get all of it with that color. So here I am using that bigger brush, and I'm going to paint all of the sides except for the back. I'm not going to paint the back. That way I can glue it onto the big sign once it's all done. And I just really love this celery color. I think it's just a really pretty soft color green. And I'm sometimes I look at the sign and think maybe I should have painted that whole sign with this color, but I still like the way it turned out. I also used that small paintbrush to paint along the insides of the little handles there. I don't think I showed it myself doing that, but I did paint that too to just give it that finished look. And I do believe I go in and paint a little bit on the inside of this crate as well, because I wasn't sure how much of the moss that I put in it was going to cover. So I do believe I go ahead and paint that as well here. And that's what it looked like all painted. And then I'm going to take these little eggs, and I was going to cut them off, but the ribbons actually just pulled right off of the back of those eggs, which made it very easy. So then I'm just going to take these eggs, and I'm going to take the paper that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm going to trace each egg, one egg on each of those papers that I got. And then once I got done tracing each one, I cut them all out. And after I cut them out, I am going to use that little sanding block that I got from the Dollar Tree to sand off all the glitter that was on the front of those eggs. And then after that, I just put some hot glue on the eggs and attached the paper. And then I did do a little trimming around the eggs to make sure that I didn't have excess amount. So then I took some E6000 and I'm going to put some E6000 on this crate. I just did, I think, the top and the bottom, and then I took my hot glue gun and I added some along the middle and on the edges. That way we have permanent hold and automatic hold as well. And I've heard you don't want to mix it together, because if you mix it together it kind of negates the other, so it won't work as well. So then I'm just going to glue that on to the bottom of this picture and hold it there for a few seconds, and then that part is complete. Then I grabbed some of this Spanish moss that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just filling that basket with the moss, so that way it gives a little height to those eggs when I stick them in the basket. And here I'm using my little ladybug to hold that sign straight. And then I had this little ribbon that I got from Hobby Lobby that was just adorable, and I put that on the front egg of the green egg, and then I had this sheer ribbon, green ribbon that I got from the Dollar Tree that I added to the other egg. I didn't put any ribbons on the back eggs just because I figured that it would be hard to see them with the two eggs that were in the front, but I think it turned out looking pretty cute. So then once that was completed, I put some Mod Podge on the sign. That way when I adhere the sign that I made, it will not pull up the paint. And I'm not going to really show much of me adding this sign on, because I really struggled with this. Vinyl sometimes can be really hard, and this was no exception. Even though I am burnishing it here, it just kept wanting to come up with the plastic, and I tell you, I think it took me an hour before I got it all off. And you see me sitting there kind of playing with the letters because some of it was trying to come up still. So I just love the sign though. I thought it came out really cute. So then I made this bow out of this ribbon that I got from not Hobby Lobby, Dollar Tree. And I am just twisting it with some wire there. And then I thought, okay, I like more than one bow, I guess. I like to spoof things up. So I'm going to add some more ribbon to that as well. So once I got both of those bows made, I just went ahead and took off that wire and put it around both of those bows and then tightened it again. And then once I was done with that, I took some of that buffalo check or gingham ribbon and I cut some and put it around the middle to cover up that wire. And then I hot glued it there, and look it, I am so proud of myself. I was using my finger protectors. And then once I was done, I hot glued it to the top of that sign. And then I grabbed some jute twine. I did not grab the piece that came off of it because I couldn't find it in my mess. So I grabbed another piece and I just put some tape on the end so I could stick it through those holes. And then I just tied little knots on the end of each string and then trimmed up the end so there wouldn't be any long pieces hanging out. Then I decided the basket itself looked a little too plain, so I grabbed one piece of each of those ribbons that I used on the bow, and I'm just hot gluing the ends together to keep them from separating. And once I get it all hot glued, I'm going to put it on the bottom of that crate. So I'm just going to hot glue the ends to the very back of this picture, and then it is done, and I think it came out pretty cute. When I saw this sign on my Cricut Designs face, I just loved it and knew that I needed to use it. So there's the final product. And here are the 3 items I created this week. I hope you like them. Let me know in the comment box below which one was your favorite, and give me that thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, make sure you've subscribed. So I'll let you take a look at this, and then at the very end of this video you will see a sneak peek of what I did for you for next week. You guys have a great week, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye.